They say the quiet ones never fight back. This is the story of Emily, the shy new girl who proved them all terribly wrong. Imagine a packed high school hallway, a buzzing, chaotic scene. Then, a bully makes his move, slapping a vulnerable girl across the face. In that instant, something inside her finally snapped. No one, not the students, not the teachers, not even the bully himself, expected what happened next. The girl everyone dismissed as weak had spent years hiding a powerful truth she swore she would never use again. Emily Carter, a soft-spoken 16-year-old, had just moved to Ridgeview High. Her mother's job transfer brought them here from a small town, and Emily hoped this first week would be a new beginning, a fresh chance to simply fade into the background. She walked quietly, kept her books closed, and answered only when directly spoken to. Her preferred sanctuary was the corner seat near the window, away from all the noise. But in every school, there are people who unfortunately misunderstand kindness for weakness. At Ridgeview, that person was Austin Reed, a loud, arrogant senior who thrived on being the center of attention. He moved with a pack of friends, always laughing the loudest, pushing the hardest, making sure everyone knew he ran the hallways. Emily had desperately hoped to go unnoticed, but the truth is, quiet people often stand out more in a world constantly screaming for attention. The trouble began on a seemingly ordinary Thursday morning. Emily was making her way to class when Austin and his friends deliberately blocked the hallway. She tried to quietly step around them, but Austin snatched her notebook right from her hand. "Where do you think you're going, Mouse?" he laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. Emily reached out, politely. "Please, can I have it back?" Her voice trembled, but not from fear. It was from pure, utter exhaustion. She had dealt with bullies before in her old school. She knew the pattern. She knew the humiliation that was about to unfold, and she hated it with every fiber of her being. Austin flipped her notebook open, loudly mocking her neat handwriting. More students gathered, forming a tight circle. Phones subtly came out, ready to record. Whispering spread through the crowd like wildfire. "I'm talking to you," Austin sneered, his voice dropping to a dangerous growl. And then he slapped her. The heart of the hallway went instantly silent. But Emily didn't cry. She didn't step back. She simply closed her eyes and took a long, steady breath. She had worked for years to control this hidden part of herself, the strength she didn't want anyone to know about. Her father had trained her in martial arts since childhood, not for competition, but for absolute survival. Emily used to be fierce, unstoppable, a whirlwind of controlled power. But after a terrible accident years ago, where a classmate got hurt during practice, she had sworn never to use her strength again. That slap, however, awakened something she had buried deep within her. Austin raised his hand again, ready to strike a second time. But this time, Emily caught his wrist mid-air. A collective gasp ripped through the hallway. Austin laughed, a dismissive, arrogant sound, clearly thinking she was bluffing or pulling some kind of weak prank. He tried to yank his hand away, but he couldn't. Emily looked him straight in the eyes, her gaze unwavering, filled with a quiet intensity. She whispered, "Don't," her voice barely audible, yet resonating with an unspoken warning. He yanked harder, convinced she was still just a mouse. Then, in one swift, controlled, and utterly precise motion, not violent, but absolutely necessary, Emily twisted his arm exactly the way her father had taught her. Austin stumbled, losing his balance completely. A second twist, a calculated shift of her weight, and his elbow gave out with a sharp, sickening crack. Austin screamed, a high-pitched sound of pain and shock. Students instinctively backed away, their faces pale. Footsteps thundered as teachers rushed in, drawn by the commotion and the scream. Emily let go immediately, stepping back, her hand shaking less from fear and more from the powerful, visceral memory she had tried so desperately to bury for so long. A teacher shouted, "What happened here?" Austin cried out, clutching his arm, tears stinging his eyes. Emily, her voice still quiet but firm, simply said, "Nothing, not yet." She knew in that moment no one would believe the quiet girl. Emily sat in the principal's office, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She wasn't scared of punishment. She was terrified of being misunderstood all over again. Mr. Henderson, the principal, entered with a stern, unreadable look. A school counselor followed him. Behind them, Austin's mother and Austin himself, his arm now in a sling, walked in. Emily kept her gaze respectfully low. "Emily," the principal began, his voice serious, "several students confirmed that you injured Austin. Is that true?" "I didn't attack him," she said softly, her voice steady despite the internal turmoil. "I defended myself." Austin scoffed, a pathetic, wounded sound. "Defended? You broke my arm!" Emily didn't raise her voice, but her words were clear. "You slapped me first. You were going to hit me again." A heavy, tense silence filled the room. The counselor leaned forward gently. "Emily, has this happened before? At your old school?" Emily hesitated, but the burden of hiding her past had become too painful to bear. "Yes," she admitted. "Not because I started fights, but because I knew how to finish them." Then she explained everything. Her rigorous training, her heartfelt promise to stop using martial arts, the old accident from years ago, the crushing guilt she had carried ever since, and her constant fear of losing control. Her voice trembled as the truth spilled out, unburdening years of secrecy. Austin's mother looked at her son sharply. "Austin, did you hit her first?" Austin looked away, refusing to make eye contact with anyone. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. The principal sighed, a sound of heavy realization. "Emily, what you did was clearly self-defense. You won't be punished." He then turned his gaze to a humiliated Austin. "And Austin, there will be serious consequences for your behavior." Austin swallowed hard, his face red with shame. But this powerful story didn't end in hate or lingering resentment. The very next week, something truly unexpected happened. Austin approached Emily in the hallway, completely alone. He stood awkwardly, clearly struggling to find the right words. "Look," he started, his voice barely above a whisper, "I deserved what happened. I shouldn't have hit you. I'm truly sorry." Emily studied him carefully, searching his eyes. His usual arrogance was completely gone, replaced with something genuinely human, something humble and contrite. "Thank you," she said quietly, acknowledging his sincerity. He nodded. "If anyone bothers you, let me know. I owe you that." Emily didn't truly need his protection, but his heartfelt apology, that truly mattered. Over the next few days, students who had witnessed the dramatic event began to talk to Emily, not with fear, but with genuine admiration and respect. Some thanked her for finally standing up. Others apologized for never stepping in themselves. A few even cautiously asked her to teach them some self-defense techniques. And for the very first time, Emily realized something incredibly important. Her strength wasn't a burden to be hidden. It was a powerful gift, especially when used with responsibility and for good. Weeks later, in gym class, the coach asked for volunteers for a new self-defense workshop. Emily raised her hand, her movements deliberate and confident. Her heartbeat was steady, her breath was calm. She was no longer the quiet girl hiding her past and her incredible abilities. She was the strong girl, confidently shaping her future, one empowered step at a time. And this story reminds us of a simple, profound truth. The quietest people often carry the loudest, most unexpected strength. If you enjoyed this emotional journey, remember to subscribe to SH Stories for more powerful and inspiring tales that touch the heart and lift the spirit.